Hey there everyone, Noir here and welcome to another Petscop Fan Theories episode. Wait, I hear you say. This video is titled Episode 1 Analysis, so why isn't this the first one? That is a very good question, and it's simply down to the fact that when I started this series, I was originally only going to do the one video, which was Petscop Fan Theories, and it was basically as an homage to the theories that people had come up with, and a couple of theories of my own. But then Petscop 11 and 12 came out and I decided to do an analysis on both of them. So I thought it would only be right really to go back and pick apart each episode as a whole, and with the new information that we got from those two new episodes as well. Now then, let's start from the beginning, which is before the first episode of Petscop was even posted. The Petscop channel was created on March 11, 2017 and it had a different about section than it has now. Or the time that I'm writing this script anyway, which said the following. Raina gave this gift to us on Christmas 1997 and the year 2000. It was the single longest day of our lives. We were all certain he was dead at the time. He'd been missing since June 1997 and the year 2000. We're not as concerned about these things now. Anyone else notice that Raina is in quotation marks? That's because I feel that Raina is an alias for someone that's connected to the person playing the game in the videos on Petscop channel. Paul. I did a little bit of digging around and I found out that Raina is actually a character in a Canadian show called Lost Girl. The show itself appears to be inconsequential to Petscop's storyline, but it does help to define that Raina may be a character within the game, but using his actual name instead of the alias that we see. So, let's begin with the episode itself, which starts up with the lovable sound of a PlayStation 1 being booted up. We then see the animation for the company that made Petscop, Garalina. I've searched around and all I can deduce really from this name is that it was just a way to get an interesting company alias that definitely wasn't already taken by someone else in the past, because it appears to be an amalgamation of two different languages, Gara meaning race or meeting, and then Lina meaning line. So either meeting line or race line, neither of which appear to be consequential to the plot itself. Once we get to the title screen of Petscop, we hear for the first time our player and narrator Paul. During the first few episodes, Paul directs his speech towards one person in particular. We still have no idea who this person could be definitely, but I have a few suspicions as to who it is, which I'll also elaborate on when the time comes. Moving on, the first area we see in the game is the gift plane, which is clearly unfinished and only holds one level in particular, which is even care. Once inside, we go through a few separate rooms and then we meet our first pet in person, which is Amber. Amber's puzzle consists of attempting to get into the same cage as her, so you can catch her. Where have we seen that kind of thing before? Oh yeah, in Petscop 12 with the Quitters room. Tiara, or Belle, is trapped in the mirrored version of the room, unable to leave until Paul manages to go into that section as well. So I have been having a few suspicions as to the relevance of pets within the game, and now I feel that I've got it. The pets themselves are different versions, or sort of personifications, really, of the other characters within the game itself. So, we've got Tiara or Belle, and Belle basically appears to have the pet version of Amber. Next, we meet Ronith, who can't be caught. Does that sound familiar to anyone? How about the area? Does that look like another area to you? Well, when we get to it further down the line, I'll compare them, so don't worry about that. Next is Pen, who appears to have quite the affinity towards pianos. In Petscop 11, we see a demo of the Avatar playing what is classed by Marvin as bad music. But he mentions that somebody else plays badly, Tiara. So it turns out that Pen could very well be referencing Tiara. But wait a second, once again I hear you say, if Belle is Tiara and Amber is Belle's pet version, how could Pen be Belle's pet version too? I'll get to that when it comes up, because otherwise this would be a really long episode. And now we're on to Randis and Wavy, two pets that are almost symbiotic in nature, with Wavy constantly keeping Randis from wilting away by watering her. In Petscop 11, we see this again in the house, with somebody else being present, Care. During that scene, the Avatar's locked in a closet of sorts, while Marvin breaks in and kidnaps Claire. But wait, doesn't that seem familiar to what we see happening here? Paul comes into the room, but he sees that he has to separate the two pets from each other in order to catch them. So he takes Wavy out of the equation by stopping Randis from being watered by placing a bucket over where she would pop up. Then he's free to take both Randis and Wavy. This appears to be an alternate version of the event of the kidnapping. So, what about the picture when you enter Even Care that depicts Tonith and Randis together? I think this is once again another link to that event. Once again, when we come to the part that helps to link all of that part up, I'll certainly come back to it. And that brings this analysis to a close. I know that it seems like I'm cutting this short, but I think it's better to get the points that I mentioned basically across when those events occur, so when each episode shows them, I'll be able to reference back properly instead of having a video that's about 5 hours long, because nobody would want to sit for that long and listen to me drone on that much. So I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, leave a comment and let me know. If you didn't, then feel free to inform me as well via comments or messages or whatever, and tell me how to improve next time. Just keep it constructive because we're all friends here. Thanks for watching, and keep on surviving.